What is up guys, Andy Forrest the Dean Runner here. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm giving you guys my first impressions of the Brooks Hyperion. So according to Brooks, this thing is all about speed, and I took it out on my Tuesday workout to really go through the gears in the shoe and give it a good test. With all first impressions videos, I like to tell you how I've used the shoe, give you a bit of a technical overview, and then give you my first impressions and how I think I'm going to be using the shoe moving forward. So if you're excited for today's video guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. Let me tell you how I used it. So I started off with a 15-minute warm-up in this shoe to get ready, and then dived straight into the workout. The workout was 2 times 5 minutes, all with 90 seconds recovery, 2 times 4 minutes with 90 seconds recovery in between those, 2 times 3 minutes, you guessed it, with 90 seconds recovery, and 2 by 2 minutes with, of course, 90 seconds recovery. So 90 seconds across the board, and I basically cut down the efforts as I went through. So effectively going through the gears, which is exactly what I wanted to do with this shoe. And then after that, I finished off with a 15-minute cool down. So let's dive into the technical overview. In terms of sizing, I went true to size, UK size 13 for me, and it fits absolutely perfectly. I know it's an 8mm drop, Brooks' website confirms that, but it doesn't actually confirm the stack height. I'm going to guess it's relatively similar to like the Takumi Sen or the Streak Fly. I'm thinking 30-22, 31-23, 32-24, in and around that area. It's about 2 or 3 mil drop less than the max that I've been testing recently. And in my UK size 13, it comes in and around 278 grams or 9.8 ounces. And as always, we'll work away from the heel counter, talk about the ankle collar, tongue, lacing, upper, midsole and outsole. If you're familiar with the Brooks Hyperion Tempo, or if you're familiar with the Brooks Hyperion Max, the shoe structure and look and feel is very, very similar. So we'll run through it. The main difference I think is the upper really. But in terms of construction, we have a very, very minor flare away from the Achilles, but very structured heel counter. There's some substance in the back there that stops it from being too flexible, which gives you a little bit of support. But other than that, what I really love about these shoes, you guys know I love the Hyperion Tempo and the Max. A lovely cutout under here. It just sits really nicely under the ankle bone. I just get such a good feeling when I slip my foot in these shoes. The whole back section just locks me in really, really nicely. And as I said, some good structure here, nothing fancy, nothing crazy, and some medium plush padding that runs in and around that ankle collar area. Not too thin, not too thick. In terms of the tongue, just like the other shoes really, very, very thin, paper thin at the top there, but then as you get down over the top of the laces, there's a minutest bit of padding just to stop that pressure on the top of the foot where you cinch the laces down. And that again works nicely. The tongue has a V-shaped cut in it to sit round the top of your ankle bone, and it works really, really well. In terms of the laces, I should also say it's a gusseted tongue, which means it's attached to the medial and lateral sides, outside and inside of the shoe, just sort of around here and around here to stop it sliding left to right. Laces, one of the really great features about the Brooks shoes that I love with the Hyperion Max in particular, they're textured laces, so when you cinch them they just don't come loose. There's a little bit of roughness about them so that when you tighten them up, you feel like they almost lock in place. It's really, really nice. I love it, and I wish all running shoes had it. If I'm honest with you, I wish it could be a universal feature across all shoes because I just find them really flipping useful. The shoe doesn't come undone at all, doesn't loosen up. I just felt really, really good. In terms of the upper, we're talking about a warped knit mesh upper. That's what the website says. I think it's a mesh upper, but warped knit, I don't know. It's different from what you're experiencing in the Tempo and the Max. I'm not going to make this a comparison video, but in the Tempo, it was a little bit more baggier, shall we say. Lovely fit, very nice and roomy, but a little bit, what feels a bit thinner and more ventilated. This is a little bit of a thicker upper, I would say. As you can see, we haven't got the ventilation in the toe box there. What this does is it molds around your foot a little bit more. It kind of feels more secure across the top, which is what you want with a speed day shoe. You don't want too much room to move around, which is great. It will be really interesting to test it in the warm weather. It's warm at the moment, but not crazy hot. It definitely looks less ventilated than the other two shoes, but I have to say, extremely comfortable, very nice fitting across the top of the foot, really hugs and wraps your foot in nicely. So for me, a big thumbs up. We've got that DNA Flash midsole, a little bit less of it than what we saw in the Hyperion Max, but still, I love that midsole. Very nice, very bouncy is the wrong word. Responsive is a good word, but it's not bouncy, it's on the firmer end of the spectrum. So you really turn over nicely in this shoe. And then we've got rubber outsole coverage in the forefoot and some in the heel, and then some exposed midsole in the middle there. You can see it's still a little bit dirty from where I've been running, but overall great traction there. And after 415 miles in this one with the rubber outsole, it didn't start to lose too much grip. So I can say in terms of durability, if it's the same type of rubber they're using on this one as they do in the Max, then it will last a long time. And that is it for the tech. So how did I find this shoe? First impressions, let's dive in. Before we do, a very quick disclaimer. This is a shoe that Brooks sent me for the purpose of review. However, they have no editorial control over this video. They have no idea of my thoughts, haven't shared anything with them, and they won't see this video until you guys get to see it here. So I just wanted to make that very clear. And I was delighted when this shoe turned up because you guys know my love for the Hyperion Max. What a shoe, 416 odd miles in it before I retired it, and it got me through a marathon training block. I just love it, and I love DNA Flash midsole. It's really something that I connect with. The Hyperion Tempos, I ended up purchasing 2 pairs of those myself with my own money. So when they sent me the Max, I was delighted, and now they've sent me this, I'm even more delighted. I just can't get enough of this midsole, to be honest with you. But the midsole doesn't make the shoe as a whole. The midsole is a great boost for this shoe, but how did I find it? Let's dive in, because I wasn't having the best day when I did this run. I was quite tired, felt quite lethargic. I was able to go through the gears, and I was able to put in some good paces, really good paces actually, and it felt really good, light, responsive. I mean, the weight in this thing is a big plus. For me, 280 grams, under 10 ounces in my size, that's crazy. That's really good. And I think what I saw on the website was like 204 grams, and I don't know, do they base that on like a UK size 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever? It's really lightweight, basically. It's only a smidge heavier than my Vaporflies, which is great. It's exactly what I want in a speed day shoe. Instant comparisons when I put this thing on foot. Takumi Sen, Streak Fly, Puma Liberate Nitro. I haven't tried it, but the New Balance SC Pacer. All of those shoes, this is another shoe within that category. So I'm going to say lower stack. It's not really a lower stack shoe, is it? Because we're talking, as I said, probably around 30, 22, 31, 32, I don't know, somewhere around there. So it's not lower stack, but I guess we're used to a lot of these shoes now which are mid-30s, so things feel a lot more elevated. And when we do get ground contact feel, it can sometimes feel a bit abnormal because we're not used to running in shoes with a little bit less cushioning. So this definitely falls into that category, or probably the Adios 8 as well. I've been watching Tim Gross's videos about the Adios 8, and he talks about that shoe, very much how I felt about this shoe. Kind of lightweight, poppy, snappy, but no plate in it, moves well, and that's everything that this thing does as well. I think this is a win from Brooks, if I'm honest with you. I think it's trending in the right direction. I will straight away say though, I didn't get the wow factor that I got from the Hyperion Max. It's not a shoe that made me go, wow, I'm in love with this. This is going to be the best thing since sliced bread. It is a case of, yeah, this one's going in my rotation. I'm going to use it. It's going to get to 100 miles easily, but it doesn't stand out from the crowd. Does that make sense? So it's a very solid offering. It's a very good shoe, but as I said, the Hyperion Max absolutely stole my heart. This thing, it's just going to kind of fit in with the rest, which I guess for me, And if you're thinking from Brooks' perspective, that's good because it's going to go into the rotation and it's going to get the use that it wants. It's a speed day shoe. It's certainly not something I'm going to consider probably for long runs. It's definitely not an easy day shoe. I consider it for moderate runs. I can imagine it's going to be pretty decent for that. And I'll do some more testing with moderate running, but speed day is where this thing is at. It's built for speed, it's designed for speed, and that's pretty much what I want to use it for. So definitely more testing required. It's going to take some moderate runs, some steady runs. It's blending in with the Takumi, so it's going to have some competition there because I'm absolutely in love with the Takumi. But as we transition into marathon training, probably going to pick up some more moderate runs and get a use on some of those speed days as well. But overall, really solid shoe. In terms of pros and cons, I mean, I've only done one run in it. I just wanted to share those initial thoughts. That first workout, it went through the gears really well. It felt light, it worked with me. It was great. Midsole, I can't speak highly enough of it. I love it. If you love DNA Flash, you'll love this. As I said, big change, the upper. Definitely more snug, fits around the foot. Definitely more fitted, shall we say. So there's a little bit less bagginess in and around the upper, a little bit less room, which I understand you need in a speed day shoe. I get it. You want to feel locked in and feel fast. So that's fine. Totally understand. I'm not sure which I prefer. I probably do prefer like the Hyperion Tempo and the Max's upper overall, but this isn't a bad upper. It's still good. Other than that, there's really, it's got a lot of DNA from those shoes. So if you like those shoes, you'll definitely enjoy this one as well. So as I said, more testing to come. I'm transitioning to marathon training in a few weeks' time, so we'll see how much use it gets there. Probably, as I said, more moderate running, and I'll try and sprinkle in some speed work as well. But overall, very, very impressed, very happy with it. And definitely one that's going to drop into the rotation and get more miles. I'd love to hear from you guys if you're going to pick this one up, and I'd love to hear if you're a Tempo fan and a Hyperion Max fan. It'd be great to hear, and if this is one that you would consider in your rotation as well. I feel like if Brooks keep producing these type of shoes, they're on to a winner. They're just brilliant, and I feel like the evolution over the next 2 or 3 years could be really exciting. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Hyperion. Stay tuned, follow me on Strava, you'll be able to see what shoes I use on there, and of course what other workouts I do in them. Be great to chat with you there, and of course drop a comment below, let me know if you're considering getting this shoe as well. That's it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. I'll see you in the next one. Until then.